G'day guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm out on the beautiful Port Hacking River to see if I can't get some fish on the river today. The swell is way too big offshore and this wind's down, but it's too big for me to go offshore. So I'm going to have a flick through the river. I'm going to throw some lures around, see if I can't get a king early, try for get some live bait, all that sort of stuff. If we can't get any of that, it's just going to be throwing plastics around and see what we can find, hey? Here we go, take along for a ride. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for bait. This kind of looks like bait, but it kind of looks like a bit of muck. I'm just gonna sit on it for a couple minutes. Just got a little bait jig on. Just gonna a little hit with the bait jig, see if we can't pick something up. If we can't pick anything up, then we move spots to where some more bait is. If I could go offshore, that would be perfect, because I can pick up bait offshore really easily, but it's too swelly for my boat. It's not worth it. So what I just did there, I just turned that down and all that muck went. So it mustn't be a very, very big bait that's in there. Must be just like little pilchards, all that sort of stuff that is too small for this bait jig. So we'll make a little short move. So what I'm doing now, like the sounder I can read bottom have quite a high speed, but not very clear bottom. So I'm just going at a decent speed. So I'm doing about 4 knots, 4 to 6 knots, just to work a bit of space to see if we can't get pick up some bait on the sounder through here. I'm just at Lily Pilly Baths. It's a known bait spot. Just seeing if I can't find a few. If not, I've got a spot that I normally belly up at and get a few at, so I can always just go there. And hopefully they've come into the system and I can catch them, because I haven't tried it yet this year. So I'm just gonna keep slowly trolling around, see if I can't find some bait. Bait through here today. On to the next spot. Alright, so I found some yakkers. Found some live bait, but no luck with them. They didn't want to bite all the bread or anything like that. Maybe I'll bring out next time some chicken or something like that, just to try and get them a bit easier. So we'll go for a quick squid, see if we can't use that as a live bait. Nice squid strip would be good. So yeah, we're going to try a few squid spots that I know that aren't going to be too swelly. So here we go. Been out the squid spot for 40 minutes without barely a touch. So I'm just going to go flick lures around instead. I spent enough time, I've spent probably an hour looking for squid and yakkers. I could see the yakkers, couldn't get any. They wouldn't bite the bread, so it's time to put a sluggo on and just have a fish around all the markers, boats, all those sorts of structures that the Kings will hold at. See if we can't get something, and as the tide slowly runs out, I'm then going to start switching my game to flathead and stuff like that. So that's the game plan. The high tide's happening right now, so we've got the last of the run in and then the turn of the tide. It's time to yeah, go chase a king around all the markers, all that sort of stuff, and then I flood it a bit later on once the tide gets a bit lower. Right. Little boof just then, right in front of me. I think they're salmon, so I might just tie on a smaller lure or just use my other smaller rod. Just want to get the boat out of the way of all that bait. I don't want to scare it too much. Just get out of there a little bit. This one back. The bait is very tiny though, so it's going to be hard to match the hatch. Right. I was sitting a bit lower, so I'm just going to let that sink for a bit. What you call eyes. These are what we call eyes. Very, very tiny bait fish. Finally, fish on. Oh. Doesn't like me at all. Finally. Jesus. Might chase this guy a little bit on the motor. Just make up a bit of line. There's all this bait around. There's been a few slurps on the surface. And I've been casting this little lure around. And finally, bang, we're on. It's a good fish, whatever it is. You're using a 1 to 2 kilo rod. I think it's 10 pound leader. Just gotta go real light on him. Give him all the room he wants. He can't break me off on anything, so I do not know what this is, but it's giving me some plenty of curry. Slow down that electric now. I've caught up to him again. Have fun, enjoy the light fight. I'm in 11 meters of water, so I've got plenty of room. Let's tighten up just a touch. Just tighten it up on him a touch, just put a bit of pressure on him. Whew. Having a good fight here. There's a bit of colour on him. I just saw a bit of colour. So he's coming up. I don't know if it's a salmon, a king, good trevally, could be any of them. Turn that off, I'm right below him now. Turn that, chase him a bit more again. This is good fun. I don't think I was recording at all for this whole fight. Oh no, you're joking if I wasn't recording. Anyway, around that bait, a beautiful 74 centimeter king. I am so happy with that. There's plenty of little, eyes around, little bait just over here, and I've just been casting around. I saw some salmon, but then obviously there's some kings around it, and he's whacked it. I've got my little Daiwa Legalis rod here, the 1 to 2 kilo rod with the little what is it? Laguna reel, 2000 Laguna reel, 6 pound braid, probably 10 pound leader, 1 to 2 kilo rod, and it took me an age to get it in. Like I said, I don't think I was recording. I was concentrating so hard on trying to actually get him in. So hopefully I have the footage. If not, you're just seeing the end of it. That took forever to get in, but I'm so happy. That's a new PB for me, especially in the port hacking. I've caught them plenty around the 60-70 centimeters, and that's the biggest one I've caught for a long time. So I'm going to quickly deal with him and then give you actually I'm going to give you a look first, and then I'm going to quickly deal with him, hey? Have a look at this. 74 75 centimeter kingfish, absolute specimen of a fish here in the port hacking. There's been rumors around that they've been around this week and find the bait, and that's where they were just chasing the bait around. So I'm so happy with that. Yo! All right, that fish has been dealt with. It is time to, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get another one of these lures and chuck it on the heavier setup because yeah, what you can't see is that hook's been bent quite a bit. And yeah, we got a little bit of luck with him. 70, it's a tough fight. Oh, it's a tough fight. 75 centimeter kingfish on a 1 to 2 kilo rod, 6 pound braid, 2000 size reel, a small 2.5 inch grub, and like, yeah, it is just crazy. A little, like, not even a 1/0 hook. It's a tiny little hook. So I'm gonna just change the hook size a little bit, go a bit heavier and a bit thicker, and then just also change the rod and reel that I'm using, because that was a bit crazy. I thought it was just going to be a salmon, and it ended up being an absolute thumping kingfish. You guys probably can't see it, but the wind's kicked up. It's probably come from 4 or 5 k's an hour to about 25 now, and you can't see the bait anymore on this edge. The bait was all the way along this edge, and I was just flicking cast into there, and there's not much now. So I've sort of switched angles with the way I'm casting, go with the wind, because I'm using such a light lure. I'm only using a quarter ounce jig head to see if I can't get them, but I've been casting for about half an hour here and there's been nothing. So this wind has sort of kicked it and pushed the bait really down. Makes it a bit harder to find the bait and then find the fish, obviously. So I'm sort of just what we call prospecting right now. So just using the wind to push me across this bank, and I'm just casting and blinding this little lure back. Fish. Oh, beautiful salmon. Just drop that one down. That was good. I just dropped that down a little bit more that time. So I just dropped that down a little bit more that time, and bang. So the bait must have gone down a bit deeper. He's having good fun. It's a good fish. It's a good salmon. here, buddy. Thank you. Beautiful salmon. Whew. Like I said, just drop the bait down a little bit further that time, and bang, we have a beautiful little Australian salmon. Oh, just quickly show you guys. And get a hook in my hand. Beautiful little Australian salmon. I'm going to keep this one for the dogs. Again, the dogs absolutely love these fish, so there's a bit of bait around. I'm just going to keep fishing through here, keep trying. I'll drop that one down and let it sink for ages, and then flick, rest, and then it just absolutely smashed it on the paws. So there's plenty of bait still around, even though this wind's kicked up. As soon as that wind's kicked up, I've sort of just dropped it a bit lower. Let me just get this guy out. And yeah, absolutely hammered it. Just let it sink down a bit longer, and yeah, he come around and just absolutely smacked that. So, good stuff. Very happy with that. He's not so happy that I caught him, but beautiful fish. So just to explain how I caught that, I don't know whether you guys, again, I don't know whether that kingfish footage came through, but as I came out from another spot, I was just fishing, I saw these little eyes, and then I saw some salmon pushing around them, and I was like, right, I have to downgrade. What I had was this sluggo. So this is probably 6 to 7 inch lure, really thin lure, and it's a kingfish candy. It's a very famous kingfish lure. But what I realized was that wasn't going to get a kingfish. They weren't cued in on those bigger baits straight away, and so I had to immediately downgrade mine to a small 2.5 inch grub. Now, stupidly, I thought I could get a little salmon on a 1 to 2 kilo rod, and it was not a salmon, it was a massive kingfish. Landed it, I got very lucky, but I was so happy with that. And then I was like, right, I just need to upgrade the gear. I've still got 12-pound leader, so similar leader, just a little bit heavier, just a little bit heavier of a rod. I got a 3 to 6 kilo rod now, and I'm yeah, happy to have that, trust me. And then obviously we've got this like norwesterly breeze blowing. It's perfect to push the bait into that little drop off there. It's going to hold the bait there, but they're not going to be sitting up on the surface anymore because this wind sort of pushed it across and not made it a glass out anymore. What they've done is actually gone a lot deeper. So what I was like, right, I finished prospecting, casting about 40 or 50 casts on the surface. I was like, right, time to change it up a bit, go a bit lower, let it sink to the bottom, give it 5 or 6 flicks and really get it up into the middle of the column, and then bring it back down. So I was going up 5 or 6 meters and then dropping down and really slow, and then often the 3rd or 4th drop there, as you saw, the salmon came through and ate it. So the salmon around, the kingfish are going to be right next to him, so let's keep trying, hey? Again, same thing, same way, dropped it down. I think this one might be a trevally, especially the way he's going dung 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 dung. See that? See my rod going dung 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 dung. Yeah. Come here, buddy. It's a good trevally. We will take him. Beautiful trevally. He's probably 30, 35. He's legal, but I don't really eat trevally, so bring back. Alright, so we have the drop off now, and I'm right at the end of the drift. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the electric out, go full tilt, back up to the drift, back up to the start. I don't like, especially when it's like on this surface stuff like this, I don't like running the motor, like my big engine, on the back and just bursting straight back and then coming back and casting again. Sometimes you can send the fish down for 20 or 30 minutes there if you do something like that. So if you've got an electric and it's this sort of situation where there's a lot of bait stacked up against this drop off here and you want to be quiet the whole time, I would suggest just chuck the electric in, put it in full tilt. I'm not even using it to help me with the drift, I'm just using the wind to push me across this bank. And so I'm just heading back into the wind now. I'll get far enough away, then start casting again. Yeah, and keep doing the same thing. Just letting it drop down, flick, 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 let it sink down. It's not going, the lure's not even going all the way to the bottom. I'm just getting it down. I'm probably counting to 25, 30 seconds, which will get it close to the bottom, but not right on it. And so flick, 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 big long pause, 5-10 second pause, and then flick, flick, flick. I'll probably only do 3 or 4 retrieve, like flicking retrieves in a whole cast, and I'm casting 35-40 meters. So yeah, it's just about fishing that really slow and putting a lot of action into the lure and then giving it long pauses. Alright, so back at the top of the drift now, just sort of position the boat knowing that if I look at the direction of these ripples here, if I can sort of perfectly place myself in the direction of my drift, I just, as soon as I get there, which is about now, I kill the motor, I drop it back down to, well, for me it's level 3, which is like my normal lure when I'm soft plastic fishing. I drop it back down there, so then if I need to use it and turn it on, chase a fish, whatever, put myself in a better spot, slightly adjust. I'm not going full tilt straight away. Just let it really sink down. Jesus Christ, that bird scared the life out of me. I thought it was a bust up. Lots of time down. Make it look really, really alive. Pause it. Watch my line. Watch for the tick in the line. Again, big hops. As you can see, that was only probably 3 or 4 hops I did that whole time. Hey buddy, caught any fish today? Any little bait? Can you show me where they are? Oh, off he goes. No, he's come back up. Where the bait? You show me. Show me where the big kings are. So I just adjusted my position just a little bit. We're looking to aim just for that red marker right there, right where all that bait is. To see if we can't get a few. So that's what I'm using the electric for, just to push myself across in the drift, across as I need it. And that bird there, there's a bird around diving like that. Don't know the name of it, but yeah, if you see him diving around near where you are, you're in the right spot, because he's trying to find the bait too. If you can hear me or see that, but the wind has really kicked up, so I'm going to go around the corner to Northwest Arm to be protected from this westerly and go try and fish for a flathead or two, see what I can catch on those drop-offs there. The tide's about halfway down now, so it's perfect time to go fish for them. So get out of this wind and see what we can catch. Getting towed back in right now. I was going to go to that flathead spot. The boat's broken down. I don't know what's wrong with it. Took the mechanic this week. He said nothing was wrong. Changed the timing belt. It cost me an arm and a leg, and it broke down again. So yeah, back to square one again. It has been such a reliable engine, and the last 2 times I've taken it out, it's broken down, so it needs to get fixed. This problem needs to be sorted ASAP. I'm not happy at all.